Many farmers underprice their products, not because they don't know their worth, but because they're scared that people won't pay. I was the same way when we first started. And one thing I've learned is that when you're just comparing your prices to the grocery store, that's a losing proposition. You're losing money on every pound of meat, every pound of tomatoes, everything that you're selling. If you're comparing to the store, you're losing money. So this is module 6, price it like you mean it. Premium pricing is not optional. Underpricing your products is one of the fastest ways for your farm to go under, to not survive. It's a kind of tricky thing because you're staying busy, you're selling a lot of product, you're doing a lot of stuff to get product off of your farm, but at the same time, the math just never works out. You can't seem to get ahead, and it feels like you're not making any money. This is a big reason why I try to stress to farmers that you can't sell your products for grocery store prices. Truth is, you're actually not competing with the grocery store. You never were. The person that buys from our farm and that's going to buy from your farm, they're making a decision for entirely different reasons. They want to know where their food came from. They want to know how it was processed. They want to know the farmers that raised it. And the fact that you're doing things differently that's going to bring in these customers, that's why you have to price your products different. Because most likely you're going to be putting in a lot more work to create the product that you're selling than the products you would find at a grocery store. So let's talk about, why do farmers underprice their products? There's 3 big reasons why this happens. Number 1, fear of losing the sale. What if the customer says your product's too expensive? What are you going to do with this product if it's not selling? Especially early on, getting those sales it's addictive. It's fun. It makes you feel like your work is actually paying off. But dropping your prices to grocery store prices or just severely discounting your products to move it is not the way to go about it. And that brings me to number 2, comparison to the wrong benchmark. If you're comparing your grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotic beef that you're raising on your farm to that of Walmart or that of Costco, then you're using the wrong benchmark. They have completely different metrics. They're at such large scales at what they do, and it's a very different way of doing things that their price, and they're doing it the right way. They're thinking about what their costs are to produce that, and their cost includes transportation, the feedlots, the people that grow them. They have a lot of different costs than you do, and they factor those costs in, and then whatever the market will bear. That's not your benchmark. You have to compare it on your products, what it's costing you to raise them, what your inputs are costing, what your labor is costing. So that's a big one, is using the right benchmarks to compare your products to, or not using the wrong ones that are going to give you a price that's not going to get what you deserve for your product. And then number 3 is actually not knowing the cost. If you don't know what it costs to actually produce your product, you're not going to be able to price it correctly. If you haven't watched module 5 yet, the video before this one, check that out. That talks all about this, about knowing your numbers. But knowing your actual cost, super important. Again, of course, you could look at what the farm down the street is selling theirs for, what some online retailers are selling it for that maybe ship to your home, but those are not your benchmarks. They all, again, have different costs to produce what they're producing, and you need to know yours, because that allows you to set a floor, add a margin on top of that, and actually make a profit on your farm. And this is something I like to tell farmers, that if you're not getting any pushback on your price, then you're probably priced too low. Pushback on your price serves 2 purposes. 1, it filters out the customers that aren't yours. They were never going to be your customer, and they're just giving you their opinion. Fine. Move on. It filters them out so that you're getting the customers who are going to pay your price. Those are your customers. The right customer is going to expect to pay more for what you do, because they know that you are doing it very differently than what they can get in the store. They're willing to pay more or a premium for that labor, that work, and that quality that you're providing. So let's start with a framework on how to price your products. First, pricing has to start with your cost, not what the market will bear, but what it's costing you to produce your product. And in order to do that, you have to know all of the cost of not only what you want to sell your product for, but the inputs that you need to buy in order to create that product. That could be feed, that could be, if you're selling eggs, that could be egg cartons and labels and a printer. If you're growing vegetables, that could be soil amendments, that could be trellises, that could be wash station, plastic bags, and stuff that you're going to need to get that product to market. So that's a main part of pricing your product, is to know your cost, because that sets a floor. We know how much it costs to produce this product. Now, the next thing in the framework we'll talk about is adding your margin on top of that. Your margin is your profit. It's not a bonus. It's not extra. That is your profit as a business. And I talked about it in the last video. I get a lot of pushback on labor. Labor is a cost. You need to know that cost. If it's taking you 4 or 5 hours to do something, you need to factor that in, whatever you would pay yourself or pay someone else to do that, as a cost. Because then that's going to help you get an accurate margin to put on top. If you do not include your labor, then your floor is going to be artificially low because you're missing a big cost. Labor is a cost. Labor is an expense. And if you're treating yourself just as an employee within your business, fine, you can look at your hourly rate. But if you're trying to run this as a business, then you should look at labor as a cost, adding a margin on top of your labor cost on your feed and your packaging and your gas and everything else. Add that margin on top, that's your profit. And that helps you set a price that is really going to help your farm be profitable. And then lastly, something that I've done is I've created a spreadsheet, and I will go through, and this is seeing what the market is bearing, seeing what other farms are charging. I do look at that. I don't base my pricing on that, but I still want to see the ballpark of where people are at. That helps me, one, to set my margin. My floor should be way below what other people are charging. And I will take a spreadsheet and I'll put some of the local bigger farms around me. Usually they have websites. I'll go online, look at their website, and I'll see how much they're charging per pound. And I'll do this for 5 or 6 farms. And that tells me what the market is bearing. This is what they're selling it for. Do I match my price to that? No, I usually set it, okay, I set my margin. I know, okay, maybe I can go a little higher on my margin if that's what the market is bearing. And do that, you price accordingly. I don't want to be the lowest producer because I know that I am busting my butt to produce the products that we're making. You know, when you're going out every day moving chicken tractors, a big operation's not doing that. Everything's in a building, everything is automated to a degree, but there's no grass, there's no sunlight, there's no exercise the birds are getting, and that creates a different quality of product versus you having your birds out on sunlight, moving them to new pasture every day. They're eating grass, they're eating bugs, they're eating seeds, they're eating just a natural diet that the birds that are sold in other supermarkets are not doing. That comes with a premium. A lot of people will say that that doesn't make a big difference, and the way I approach that is I'll ask them, do you like grass-fed beef or corn-fed beef? And almost everybody will give you a preference without thinking about it. Oh, grain, I gotta have grain in my beef, or nope, I'm grass-fed only. They understand that what an animal eats is what the quality is gonna be. That is a good example to give to someone so that you're making the case for what an animal eats affects what it tastes like, what the texture's like. My daughter's taking off behind me, so I digress a bit. Getting back to look at what comparable direct-to-consumer farms are doing in your area, see what they're pricing. Again, that'll help you set that margin on your product. Again, we're not copying their prices. We are automatically setting our floor. We know what that is. The question is how much to add on top of it. And that's different for every farm. You have to decide how much your time's worth, how much your product is worth, and that all factors in. Again, this is just different for every farm, but adding in your margin on top of that, again, is going to be your profit, and that helps to give your farm an idea of then what you're making on that product, on that enterprise. And is any of this perfect? Nope. But every little piece of this is a whole lot better than guessing. Every little piece of this adds more to the puzzle so that you can make an informed decision about your product. Not only getting what you want to get for it, but making sure that you're also getting enough for it that it's covering your time and expenses. Another thing about pricing is, okay, you followed this framework, you've set your prices on your products. Now what? Don't keep them the same. That's another mistake that a lot of farms make, is they set their prices and then they don't look at them for 6 months, a year, 2 years. And this is something you really need to stay on top of, because feed costs fluctuate. Gas prices, obviously any of you buying gas now, you know it's not the same as it was 6 months ago. I'm gonna take just a little pause because my daughter is pulling back up in the gator. So back to it, you guys know that gas is very different than it was 6 months ago. And this is with anything. Things just change. Nothing stays the same, and your pricing needs to change with these things so that you're still getting those margins and you're still making sure that your farm stays profitable. In the last video about knowing your numbers, I talked about this with cattle prices. You know, we were getting them for 500 a head. Now they're 15 to 2,000 a head. That means our price for beef had to go up because the cost of actually replacing those animals went up for us. So bottom line, if your input costs go up, but your margins stay the same, you're gonna slowly start losing money. And you may not realize it right away, but you're just gonna realize that it's a lot harder to break even on what you're doing. So just keep an eye on that stuff, on prices of your inputs, on what the market's still charging for the products, and take both of those into account. That'll help you create the margins that you need, or adjust your margins to account for those changes. Another thing about pricing I want to talk about is sales and discounts. Now, to me, this is kind of a double-edged sword. Sales are great. They're awesome. Everybody loves a sale. Everybody loves a discount. Most places advertise sales. But you also have to be careful, because you run too many of them and you can actually train your customers to not purchase from you until you're running a sale. Your full price or your normal price becomes essentially the fake price, and customers start to look at your sale price as the real price, and then they don't buy from you until you're hitting those sale prices. That is a hard thing to adjust once you have created that behavior, once you've created that expectation. So be careful up front when you're running sales or discounting your products. What we do on our farm is we occasionally run a sale, but our first discount that we do is actually to our very first customers, but we do this in a form of a coupon. And what it is that we have a website. When people come to our website, there's a thing right here, save 10% on your next order. And what it is they give us their email address, they sign up for our newsletter, and in exchange to their email, they get a coupon code that takes 10% off of whatever's in their cart. It's a one-time use, it's tied to their email, and that way you're getting something of benefit. That customer that you can then communicate with, they're getting something of benefit in that they're getting a discount on their order. And it doesn't matter if they order $5, they get 10% off. If they order $100, they get 10% off. And it's a great way, it's a win-win for the customer and you, the farmer. And also, sales have their place. I'm not saying never run a sale, but just do it with purpose, if that makes sense. The reason we run sales on our farm generally is that, one, if you've got stuff that's expiring, we don't keep any meat we don't sell any longer than a year. That said, that meat comes to our freezer and we may eat it 3 years later. You know, it's not bad. But generally, we don't sell any meat from our farm less than a year. So if you've got products that are approaching that deadline, perfect time to run a sale, because that's a case where you either sell it at a discount or you don't sell it, period. You know, hopefully you're watching all these videos and you can get really good at marketing and you won't run into that problem, because your meat's going to be gone before you ever get to that 1 year mark. But sales are a good way to address that if that's an issue for you. And then another thing is overstock. Obviously, sometimes we've made the mistake of just getting a product that, you know, we try to want to provide a big variety of products, and just over time we found certain products just don't sell well. And that could be a certain type of sausage. It could be steaks turned into, or roast turned into chuck roast or chuck steaks. Those are a couple examples for us that didn't sell well. So we generally would put those on sale, meaning we're doing it in a way to get rid of them because it's not doing well. We're not planning on getting any more. So that's another reason that we'll run sales. And then really the third way that we run sales is in bundles. And this isn't really a sale, it's more of a discount for buying in bulk. We will tend to price like, we'll put beef and pork together into, say, a grill package, include steaks and pork chops. And we'll take the average retail price of those, discount them by around 10%. And we'll promote that as somewhat of a sale, but those are also year-round products and they have bigger price tags. So it's a win for the customer because they're paying a little less. It's a win for the farmer because they're moving a lot more product than just one product or one retail cut. So those are generally how we approach sales. Again, the main thing is just to make sure that you're not running them too frequently. because you'll train your customers to wait on them. And then also, marketing is a lot of times, the problem isn't your product, it's the marketing of that product. It's getting in front of eyes. If you're not getting in front of anybody, then it doesn't matter if you run a sale, because that sale is not going to get in front of anybody. So sometimes farmers tend to think, well, I'll just charge less for my product, when the real problem is you need to figure out how to get in front of more eyeballs, how to get your farm out there in front of more people. And we're going to get into that in some of the next videos when we start talking about social media, websites, farmers markets, and ways of getting your farm in front of people. So that'll be coming up. Point is, marketing is a skill. It is a skill that every farm really needs to learn. I started out reading farming books, and now I haven't read a farming book in years. You know, if I read a book, it's going to be marketing. Some great books. Story Brand by Donald Miller. Love that. It talks about just your customer's the hero and treating your customer as the hero rather than, hey, this is about me, this is my farm, this is what I do. Treating your customer as the hero. Hey, this is here for you. This is the benefits you can get. This is what this will do for you shopping for us, making it about them, not you. Some other great books I've read, Russell Brunson, .com Secrets. Sounds kind of catchy, and it's an older book, but it's not necessarily about .com or internet per se. Some really good marketing stuff in there. Gary Vee, I love watching his YouTube channel. Pretty much anything he does. He can be quite animated at times, but he really puts out some good stuff out there as far as marketing. He runs a marketing agency. Alex Hormozy, another YouTube channel. Again, these guys are doing millions. I don't think they're doing billions yet. Maybe they are. They're doing a lot of money, but you can really learn a lot from them. You know, marketing is what I try to tell farmers is, in a way, marketing is marketing. You know, because you run a farm or you're doing something different, the underlying marketing of those things is the same. It's getting whatever you have, a product, something you're building, a service you're providing, out in front of people so that they can find you. And that's marketing. You got to get your farm out in front of people. And learning marketing will help you do that. So a little side tangent about marketing, but again, it goes in with pricing, in that I see farmers dropping their pricing when the problem's not the pricing, it's the marketing. You got to get out in front of people. So to wrap up this video, raising prices feels uncomfortable, and that discomfort is totally normal. But the truth is that if you're not raising your prices to cover your time, to cover your expenses, and to actually keep you profitable, then your farm doesn't survive. You don't have a farm. And the whole point of these videos is kind of differentiate your farm as a business from a hobby. You want to make money with your farm, and that's what we're trying to do. A hobby is something you do for enjoyment, not for profit. Again, you could make profit off of the hobbies you do, but we want to approach this as a business so that it can then support, if our farming is our hobby, or it can support other hobbies. And also, the customer that haggles with you over prices is not your customer. Just let them go. Don't spend a lot of time on it. Don't try to convince them or argue with them. You know, it's almost like politics or religion. It's just a waste of time to argue if someone has their mind set on something. So let them go. They're not your customers. Take that time, that energy, focus it into something that is, you know, customers that are helping your farm, or potential customers, rather than ones that are never going to be your customers. So one thing for you to do this week, take one product that you're producing on your farm and try to calculate the true cost of producing it. Every penny, including your time and an hourly rate that you either would pay yourself or someone else to do what it takes to produce that product. And then compare that to what you're actually charging for that product. You'll have a floor. Compare that to what you're actually charging. Are you even hitting that floor? Are you way above that floor? If you are, then that above part is your margin. That's your profit on what you're doing. If you're below that floor, then technically the farm is costing you more than you were making, and you need to fix that. So that's just a little experiment, a little project to do that will get you started in this. And again, do this with all of your products, but start with one, get an idea, get a feel for it, get it priced right, and move on from there. And if you're already pricing your products appropriately, you're making profit, but you're tired of handling orders manually, text messages, DMs, and you want something that takes care of all that for you, fill out the 5-minute questionnaire at homegrownhosting.com. I'll send you a custom plan in 24 to 48 hours that can help you make money while you're out farming or sleeping. Next week, we're going to be talking about getting your farm in front of eyes. That's definitely a good one. Don't miss that one. Otherwise, hope you found this helpful, and stay tuned for next week. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.